Hi everyone, this is Ali. Today I'm going to show you how to use plain old household bleach to get this nice effect with your watercolouring. I'm just going to start with some distress watercolour paper, some Tim Holtz or Ranger watercolour paper, and I'm just covering that with my powder tool because I'm going to stamp and emboss on that. And I'm going to stamp using my mini Misty, and I'm going to stamp the outline of the flower from the Beautiful Day stamp set from Altenew, which is just a gorgeous set. I'm going to stamp that in white Hero Arts ink just a couple of times because it's quite a fine outline on that flower. I just like it to be quite a lot of ink on there so the embossing powder sticks well. And I just stamped that twice. I'm only going to use one flower in the card, but I like to do two multiples as I go because then I can make either two or I just pick the one that I like out of what I have done. And then I'm just using white embossing powder there, and I'm going to set that with my heat tool, and then I'm going to be able to watercolour over that, so it's almost like a bit of an emboss resist sort of technique. So I'm going to get, skipped a little bit over this, but I'm going to get my Candied Apple Distress ink and smooch that onto one of my clear blocks there, and then I just start painting that onto my flower, and it's fairly quick. I just sort of brush it on. There's no real technique there. It's just water and the Candied Apple Distress ink. I'm using an aquash brush there just to paint that on. So just a quick layer of the ink, and then just let that dry a little bit. So I'm going to go on to my next flower and do the same thing with the other flower, just a quick layer of that Candied Apple Distress ink. And then I'm just going to go back in with a little bit more of that Candied Apple in the darker areas of the leaves there, sort of towards the more centre of the flower, the base of the leaves, just to make them a little bit darker with that Distress ink colour. And now I'm going to get just a brush, and I've got some just neat bleach there and a tiny little cap. I'm just going to dab that on sort of the end of the petals, just lightly, not too heavy. You can water down your bleach, so that it's not quite so powerful, because when you put it on you can see it works immediately. It takes away that colour from the tips of the petals, and really quite dramatically actually. And so I'm just going over the tips of the petals where I think the light would fall on them, and just, as I said, just really lightly dabbing the bleach so you don't overdo it, and then just using my aquash brush again to pull the red Distress ink back over the areas that I've bleached. And you might need to do this a few times because of course each time you pull the ink over it does bleach away a little bit more, so while it's drying it will still tend to bleach the colour out, so you just keep pulling it back over the bleached area from the darker ink area, and you find it gives this lovely sort of bleeding effect where the colours just bleed really gently into each other, and it's really quite pretty. So I just keep doing that until I'm happy with it, and then I'm going to go over to the other flower now and just gently dab the bleach. As I said, you can actually see it a little bit better with this flower, and it works really instantly. It takes that colour away. And I'm so sorry I didn't do a close-up here. I should have stopped and done a little bit of a close-up, but I'll insert a picture close-up when I finish doing the colouring. So same thing, I'm just taking away some of that colour where I think the petal would be the lightest. Just using the bleach, gently dabbing that on. And then I'm going to go back over again with my aquash brush and pull some of that colour. And I did take quite a bit of colour out, so I just took a bit more colour off the acrylic block and then put that back onto the flower as well there. And I'm just pulling that colour back over the bleached areas. And you just continue to do that until you're happy with the look of the flower and the colour gradation as well. And you can always go back there to that one that's a little bit drier and have another look and just fill it in a little bit more colour where it's bleached out. So this is a close-up of it, and you can see that lovely sort of seeping effect that you get with the colour. So there's my two flowers. I'm just going to just cut those away from the paper, and I'm going to stamp some of the leaves from that same set, the Beautiful Day set, and also another little bunch of flowers and leaves using the same technique, just white embossing powder, white ink, white embossing powder on white distress ink card, and just heat setting that. And then, as I said, I'm going to use the small bunch of flowers there and a few leaves as well, same technique, and just heat setting that again. And then I'm going to colour those in, and I've used a Victorian Velvet, the lighter pink, on that small bunch of flowers, and I've used the bundled sage on the leaves as well. So just quickly brushing over them with the watercolour, didn't really take any time at all. And now I'm just going to fussy cut all of those images out. I do have the dies for this set, but I just decided that I wanted quite a close edge to those flowers. And now I'm going to do the base piece for my card, and I've just cut a circle out of that, run it through my die cut machine, and then I'm just going to back that onto some faux wood paper. And I'm just going to mount that up on 3D because I want it to sit out a little bit from that wood paper background. Just attaching that on. And then I just place that piece onto the front of a white card, a folded white card. Now I'm just going to position my flower and leaves where I think I would like them to go. And I'm going to use a piece of the Glad Press and Seal that I actually ordered through Simon Says Stamp, which is really handy. Just push it on and it sticks to all those pieces, and then I just put glue on the back, and then I can just flip it over and put it into place again quite easily. So I've just used multimedia matte glue there and just push those on to stick them down. And then peel gently the Glad Press and Seal. It does take away some of the embossing powder sometimes, so you need to be a little bit careful pulling that off. I'm happy with that. Now I'm just going to stamp the sentiment, "Wish you the most beautiful day," from that set on some black card, again in white Hero Arts ink and white embossed. And then I'm just going to pop that up with some 3D foam and place it onto the front of the card where I would like it to go. And that's it really for the card. So I hope you enjoyed it and that you might try this technique and give it a go. Give some really interesting results. Thanks for watching and joining me on my channel, and I'll see you again next time.